The alien veteran warned the Empire. They ignored Earth's soldiers at their own peril. They were tall, thin, and colorful, with skin that changed tone depending on mood. The Empire had grown strong in the last decades. Planets surrendered quickly, and warships moved from system to system without much trouble. The Council believed they had no equals. Carex, however, knew something they did not. He had fought humans once. He had seen what they could do when the odds were against them. He cleared his throat, his voice steady but firm. "Humans are not like other species," he said. Some council members leaned back and laughed. "They are weak, disorganized, and divided," one of them said. "They barely fight each other properly." Carex shook his head. "They are more than you think. Humans fight best when they are losing. When they have nothing to lose, when their homes are in danger, they become unstoppable." The council murmured among themselves. One alien, a tall commander named Vexer, sneered. "You are telling us that a planet we barely notice could defeat our forces." "Do you expect us to believe that?" Carex did not flinch. He leaned forward slightly, resting his clawed hands on the table. "I have seen it. When humans are pushed to the edge, they fight with courage that is unlike anything we have faced. They make sacrifices that no other species does. They protect each other even when it means death. Ignoring them will be your greatest mistake." The laughter returned, louder this time. Another council member with blue scales and long silver hair waved Carex off. "We have conquered dozens of worlds. Humans are no different. They will fall like all the others. Your warning is unnecessary." Carex's eyes narrowed. He had fought for this empire for decades. He had followed orders without question. But humans were not ordinary enemies. He remembered the battle near the Outer Rim, where human soldiers had refused to surrender even after their fleet was destroyed. They had taken down 3 of his best officers before finally retreating. He had lost many good soldiers because of them. He could not let the Council make the same mistake. Far away on Earth, people looked up at the night sky, unaware of the decisions being made in that distant chamber. Adam Cole, a former human soldier, was on his small farm outside the city. He had left the military years ago but still kept his old rifle and med kit. He noticed strange lights moving in patterns above him. At first, he thought it was satellites or a new kind of drone. But then he realized the movement was too precise, too organized. He frowned. "Something's coming," he muttered to himself. Back in the council chamber, Carex continued. "Humans are unpredictable. They do not fight for glory or empire. They fight for each other. They adapt faster than we think. Technology will not be enough to defeat them if you underestimate their resolve." A younger council member, still inexperienced and eager to show strength, waved his hand. "We will send scouts. We will test them." "Your warnings are unnecessary until we see the results." Carex's voice grew firmer. "By the time you see the results, it may be too late. Humans do not wait for others to act. They act, and they act decisively." The council finally moved on to other matters, discussing trade and taxation of conquered worlds. Carex remained seated, quiet but tense. He knew the Empire would invade Earth soon. He had seen the plans. Warships were being readied, fleets organized, soldiers trained for the assault. And yet the Council ignored his advice. They believed Earth would be a quick and easy victory. Carex thought about Adam Cole and the countless other humans who would stand against them. He remembered how they had fought in the past, how small numbers had caused devastating losses for his own forces. He could only hope that the Council survived their own arrogance. On Earth, news reports were filled with minor conflicts in space, strange sightings, and unexplained disappearances of freighters near human colonies. People shrugged. Governments were busy with political problems, trade disputes, and environmental crises. No one expected war. No one imagined that humans were about to face the most powerful empire in the galaxy. Adam Cole checked his old rifle again. He was not sure why, but a sense of urgency had gripped him. He called Lucas Gray, his old friend and former squad leader. "Lucas, have you seen those lights in the sky?" Adam asked. Lucas's voice came over the communicator, calm but cautious. "I have. Military sources are quiet, but something is moving. We need to be ready." Adam nodded. He went to gather other veterans, including Ben Carter and Claire Morgan. They met at a hidden warehouse outside the city, bringing old weapons, maps, and supplies. "I don't like this," Ben said, pacing. "We've been retired for years." "Why would anyone attack now?" Claire shook her head. "Humans have always fought when the time comes. We may be old, but we know how to survive." Adam looked at all of them. Carex warned them once. Now it is our turn to prepare. We may not have a lot of time. Meanwhile, the Empire's fleets moved silently through space. Ships larger than cities, bristling with weapons, carried soldiers who had never faced humans. They believed victory was certain. Their commanders, confident and arrogant, ignored the small warnings in their intelligence reports. Human colonies seemed scattered and weak. Even if humans resisted, the Empire thought it would be brief. Carex watched the movements with a heavy heart. He had seen the Empire win countless battles, conquer worlds, and crush rebellions. But humans were different. Humans fought for survival, for their homes, and for the people they loved. That was a kind of strength no one else had. He thought of Adam Cole and the others, ordinary humans who had survived impossible battles before. He knew that when the Empire finally arrived, these soldiers would surprise them. In quiet corners of Earth, other humans began noticing strange activity. Ships moving in unusual patterns, messages intercepted from alien communications, and unusual energy readings near the atmosphere. Governments began mobilizing, but slowly. Citizens watched the skies nervously. The sense of impending danger was growing, but most still thought it would pass without conflict. Adam Cole gathered his team in the warehouse. "We don't know what's coming," he said, looking at each face. "We only know it will not be easy." Humans have always stood together when everything seemed lost. Now we need to do the same. We have to be ready. Claire Morgan nodded. "We fight smart, we protect civilians, and we adapt. That is what humans do best." Outside, the lights in the sky grew brighter. Fleets were approaching, silently and steadily. The Empire was confident, proud of its strength, and blind to the warning given long ago by Carex. Humans, meanwhile, quietly prepared, unaware that their courage and determination would soon be tested like never before. Carex remained in his observation chamber, watching both worlds. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, "They ignored the warning, and soon they will see the cost." He clenched his fists. Years of service, years of fighting, all led to this moment. Humans were underestimated, as he had said, and soon the Empire would learn why the stories of Earth's soldiers were not just tales. They were warnings. As night fell on Earth, Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Ben Carter, and Claire Morgan finished checking their supplies. Each of them carried the memories of battles they had fought before, scars both visible and hidden. They knew they were about to face an enemy unlike any they had seen, but they also knew something else. Humans never gave up. Even when all seemed lost, they stood, they fought, and they survived. The lights in the sky reflected in their eyes, but so did determination. The first spark of what would become a legendary defense had begun. The Empire believed they were unstoppable. Carex knew they were not. Earth's soldiers were ready to show what humans could do when they fought for everything they held dear. The Council may have ignored his warning, but humans never ignored each other. And that would make all the difference. The first contact came quietly, but it left a shock that would not be forgotten. Small alien scouts moved into the outer colonies of humanity. At first, people thought they were explorers or diplomats. Then the attacks began. Freighters disappeared, space stations were disabled, and some settlements were destroyed before anyone could call for help. The humans were caught off guard, but not entirely unprepared. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Ben Carter, and Claire Morgan led small defense teams to observe and respond. The Empire commanders were confident. They sent their ships with minimal caution, expecting little resistance. They did not understand human tactics. Humans did not rely on numbers alone. They did not fight as individuals, but as groups who supported each other. Human soldiers used the terrain, the environment, and even deception to their advantage. On a small asteroid station near the rim, 100 human soldiers faced 3 times their number in alien forces. They retreated into tunnels and narrow corridors. The aliens tried to use their heavy weapons, but they could not maneuver. Humans attacked from hidden positions, taking down officers and then slipping away before the aliens could regroup. Adam Cole coordinated a team over old communication lines. "Set the traps at the junctions," he said. "We can't face them head-on." "But we can make them pay for every step," Lucas Gray nodded. "The scouts will learn quickly that humans are not weak. They will underestimate us, and that is when we strike." Ben Carter checked the explosives and readied them. Claire Morgan moved among the soldiers, giving directions and encouragement. "Remember, protect each other," she said. "We win together or we lose together." The Empire underestimated the humans completely. They believed their advanced ships and weapons would overwhelm anyone. Their reports labeled humans as slow learners and primitive fighters. But the humans adapted in hours what other species would need years to understand. Captured alien weapons were examined, learned, and modified. Energy shields were reinforced, small ships were upgraded, and soldiers trained in new maneuvers almost overnight. Each engagement taught humans more about the alien fighting style. On Earth, governments began to unite. Nations that had argued for decades now sent their best military leaders to a central command. Supplies were shared, research was combined, and citizens volunteered in record numbers. Civilians were trained to assist with logistics, communication, and rescue operations. Even though humans were small in number compared to the Empire, their spirit was strong. The first major battle happened near the planet of Caldera, a mining colony at the edge of human space. 3 Imperial warships approached, carrying elite soldiers. They expected a quick victory, but human sensors had already detected them. Adam Cole's team waited in orbit, hiding in an asteroid field. When the aliens entered the trap zone, humans activated magnetic pulses that disabled some of their systems. Then small attack ships struck from unexpected angles. The battle lasted hours, longer than anyone thought possible. The aliens suffered heavy losses. The humans retreated at the right moment, leaving behind destruction and confusion. The Empire commanders were furious. Reports described humans as annoying, unpredictable, and irrational. They could not understand why humans continued to fight even after suffering heavy losses. Carex watched the reports with growing concern. He had warned them about humans, yet they still sent forces unprepared. He remembered every detail of past encounters, how humans could strike at the enemy's weak point, how they could survive in impossible conditions, and how they would never surrender willingly. Back on Earth, Adam Cole and Lucas Gray planned for larger engagements. "They will send more forces," Lucas said. "We can't just react. We need to control the fight." Claire Morgan pointed to the maps. "We can use the colonies as bait, lure them into areas we control." "Narrow passages, asteroid fields, abandoned stations." Ben Carter nodded. "We make them pay for every step. We stretch their supply lines, force them to waste resources." Humans also began to experiment with alien technology. Small teams captured drones, weapons, and communication devices. Engineers studied them and adapted them for human use. Energy shields were mounted on small ships, and weapons were modified to penetrate alien defenses. Civilians also contributed, building quick repairs for damaged ships and making supplies for soldiers. Humanity's ability to learn quickly and adapt surprised even the aliens who had fought them before. The Empire still believed they were superior. They sent larger fleets, with more soldiers, expecting that sheer numbers would break human resistance. They did not realize humans were masters of delay, ambush, and counterattack. Human forces avoided direct confrontations when possible. Instead, they struck at weak points, destroyed supply lines, and retreated before the enemy could respond. Each engagement caused confusion, loss of morale, and frustration among alien soldiers. Adam Cole led a mission to capture a small alien supply depot. They knew the risk was high, but the payoff would be valuable. Human soldiers moved under cover of darkness, disabling security systems and neutralizing patrols silently. The aliens were caught off guard. Humans used their own tactics against them, turning the enemy's strength into weakness. The operation succeeded, giving humans supplies, weapons, and intelligence that would help in the next battles. Carex continued to watch. He communicated with the Empire secretly, trying to warn commanders again. "Humans are unlike any species you have faced," he said. "They will not surrender. They will fight even when all seems lost. You cannot win by arrogance alone." Some commanders began to hesitate, seeing the growing losses. Others dismissed him, thinking human victories were luck. But Carex knew better. He had seen human courage, determination, and creativity firsthand. He knew they were dangerous, not because of their technology, but because of their spirit. On Earth, the people also began to prepare for the possibility of invasion. Cities reinforced buildings, stockpiled resources, and trained emergency teams. Schools taught basic defense skills, and hospitals prepared for mass casualties. Humans worked together, strangers helping each other without hesitation. This unity strengthened them in ways the Empire could not understand. The second major battle happened near the colony of Viridian. 3 alien warships attacked, expecting an easy victory, but human soldiers had studied their movements. Ambushes were set in orbit, decoy ships were sent to confuse the enemy, and hidden turrets fired at key targets. The aliens were frustrated and disoriented. Humans moved with precision, using every available advantage. By the time the battle ended, the aliens had lost nearly half of their attacking forces. Human losses were high, but the Empire learned that humans could never be crushed easily. Adam Cole and his team returned to Earth after the battle. They were exhausted but determined. "They will come again," Lucas Gray said. "And next time it will be worse for them," Claire Morgan nodded. "We must be ready. Humans fight best when threatened, and we will not fail." Ben Carter looked at the horizon. "They thought they could scare us. Now they know how wrong they are." Carex reported to the Empire again. "Your arrogance will cost you," he warned. "Humans do not fight for glory, they fight for survival for each other. Underestimate them at your own peril." Some commanders finally listened, seeing the truth in human resilience. Others continued to plan invasions, ignoring his advice. Carex could only watch and wait, knowing that humans were about to teach the Empire a lesson that would be remembered across the galaxy. Humanity's soldiers, civilians, and leaders worked together, learning faster than anyone expected. The Empire still believed in its superiority, but human adaptation, courage, and unity were changing the course of the war. Humans did not need huge numbers or the strongest weapons. They needed each other, determination, and the willingness to fight for what they loved. As night fell on Earth, Adam Cole and his team looked at the stars, knowing that more battles were coming. They were ready to meet the enemy, not with fear but with courage. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and they would do it again. They were learning, adapting, and becoming stronger. The Empire would soon realize that humans were not to be underestimated. Every engagement, every sacrifice, and every clever maneuver taught the enemy a lesson they would not forget. Carex watched from afar, feeling both hope and dread. He had warned the Empire once, but humans were now showing the galaxy why they should never have been ignored. He thought of Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, and Ben Carter, and the countless other humans ready to fight. They were ordinary people, yet extraordinary in courage. The Empire had prepared for an easy victory, but humans had other plans. And soon, the galaxy would see the cost of ignoring Earth's soldiers. The Empire continued its attacks, sending waves of ships and soldiers. Each encounter ended in more confusion and loss for them. Human forces grew stronger with every battle. The soldiers learned to coordinate, civilians contributed in unseen ways, and leaders adapted quickly. The first contact had taught humans what to expect, and they were ready for the real war that was coming. By the end of this period, the Empire had begun to understand that humans were different, but it was too late to prepare fully. Earth was no longer a soft target. Humans had turned their homes, skills, and determination into weapons far more dangerous than the Empire could have imagined. Adam Cole and his team, veterans of past conflicts, were at the forefront of this transformation. And humans everywhere were learning that when they fought together, no force in the galaxy could easily break them. The first wave of attacks had ended, but the war was only beginning. Humans had shown their skill, courage, and ingenuity. The Empire's arrogance had been challenged, and humans were ready to defend their world. Carex, watching from afar, knew that the Empire's next steps would bring them face to face with a determination they could not ignore. The Empire had underestimated humanity for the last time. After the early attacks, they believed a large fleet would crush human defenses. 3 massive warships approached the outer system of Earth, carrying thousands of soldiers trained for conquest. They expected a fast victory and thought humans were already weakened. Carex watched the reports and shook his head. He had warned the Empire, but few listened. He knew humans fought differently. They fought with intelligence, courage, and an unbreakable bond with each other. Adam Cole stood in the command room of a human orbital base. The walls were filled with maps, sensor displays, and communication lines. Lucas Gray pointed to the incoming fleet on the screen. "They are bigger than anything we faced before," he said. Ben Carter examined the positions of alien ships. "We can't fight them directly. If we do, we lose everything." Claire Morgan looked at the young soldiers around them. We don't need to beat them with strength. We need to fight smart. That is what humans do best. Humans had learned from the previous skirmishes. They had prepared traps in asteroid fields, laid false targets, and programmed decoy transmissions to confuse the alien commanders. The fleet that seemed so strong on the sensors would soon be divided, forced into channels humans could control. Adam Cole checked his old rifle, but more importantly, he checked the courage of the soldiers around him. They were nervous, but determined. The first engagement began when alien ships entered the asteroid belt surrounding the outer colonies. Humans had waited for this moment. Small, fast ships darted from the shadows of asteroids, firing bursts of energy at alien command vessels. The Empire had not expected humans to strike first, and confusion spread through the fleet. Alien soldiers tried to regroup, but the humans had prepared escape routes and ambush points. The narrow passages made it impossible for large ships to maneuver. Adam Cole led a squadron through the belt. He gave precise commands: move left, intercept that cruiser and hit its engines. Lucas Gray added, we cannot destroy all of them. We must slow them down, force them to scatter. Ben Carter fired at a smaller alien ship that tried to flank them. Claire Morgan coordinated sensor teams to track enemy movements and predict their next step. Every human was in sync, moving not as individuals but as a single organism. The Empire's commanders were shocked. They expected humans to run, to surrender, to hide. Instead, humans attacked with strategy, patience, and skill. Even when some ships were damaged or destroyed, human pilots continued to press the attack, drawing the alien ships into traps. The humans were not reckless. They knew their limits, but they knew how to turn their weaknesses into strengths. In the middle of the battle, a massive alien warship targeted a small human outpost on a nearby moon. The humans had evacuated most of the civilians, but the soldiers stayed. Adam Cole and Lucas Gray led a strike team to intercept the warship before it could destroy the outpost. Using gravity wells from the moon and cleverly placed mines, they damaged the ship's engines. Human energy cannons fired precise shots at critical points. The warship slowed, lost control, and drifted into the asteroid field where it collided with debris. The humans had saved the outpost without losing a single soldier from their team. Carax watched every report, feeling both relief and tension. He knew the Empire could not believe what was happening. Their fleets were strong, but human ingenuity made them weak. Soldiers who had never been in space combat before were learning quickly. Humans studied alien tactics, adapted instantly, and created new strategies on the spot. It was not just courage that made them dangerous. It was their ability to learn, to improvise, and to act as one unit. On Earth, civilians watched the skies nervously. Governments sent messages to outer colonies, urging calm and coordination. Volunteer groups assisted in repairs, communication, and logistics. Humans understood that survival was not just about soldiers fighting in space. It was about everyone working together. Food, water, medicine, and energy supplies were carefully managed. Every person had a role. Every small action contributed to the defense. The second wave of the battle approached. This time, the aliens sent their most elite troops, expecting humans to collapse after the first engagement. But humans were ready. They used the colonies as bait, luring alien soldiers into narrow canyons and asteroid tunnels. Energy traps, automated turrets, and hidden squads made the invasion costly. The aliens lost many officers in the first hours, and panic spread among the ranks. Human soldiers pressed the advantage, never giving the enemy a moment to reorganize. Adam Cole noticed an alien command ship trying to escape the battlefield. "We cannot let it reach their fleet," he said. Lucas Gray suggested a small team could intercept it. "We are few," Ben Carter said, "but we can surprise them." "They do not expect humans to take risks this way," Claire Morgan nodded. "We rely on precision, timing, and coordination. It will work if we trust each other." The small strike team moved quickly. They used stealth approaches and hit weak points on the ship. Explosives disabled critical systems, and energy weapons targeted engines and communications. The alien crew was disoriented. Human soldiers pressed the attack, then pulled back before reinforcements could arrive. The command ship was heavily damaged, forcing the remaining alien fleet to retreat. Humans had won a decisive victory without engaging in full-scale destruction. The Empire's commanders were in shock. Their calculations had been wrong. They had assumed that humans were weak, but humans had shown resilience, adaptability, and creativity. Soldiers who had never faced them before began to doubt their leadership. Morale dropped. Karax had warned them, but arrogance had blinded most commanders. Now they faced the reality of human determination. On Earth, celebrations were muted but significant. Humans had won their first major victory. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Ben Carter, and Claire Morgan met with other leaders to plan for future battles. "This is only the beginning," Adam Cole said. "They will come again bigger and stronger. We cannot be complacent." Lucas Gray agreed. "We must continue to learn, adapt, and fight together. Humans are strong when united, and that is what will save us." The civilians contributed in countless ways. Engineers repaired ships damaged in the battle. Scientists analyzed captured alien technology, and medical teams treated the wounded. Even children helped with communication relays, learning quickly under supervision. The human spirit was on full display. Everyone had a role and every action mattered. Karax sent a warning one more time to the Empire, knowing it might be ignored. "Humans do not fight for conquest or glory," he said. "They fight for survival for each other and for home. Underestimate them at your own peril. You have already seen their strength, and it will only grow." Some commanders hesitated, finally understanding the truth. Others ignored him, still clinging to pride and overconfidence. Karax knew that the Empire's arrogance could cost them dearly. The battle ended with humans holding the outer colonies and forcing the alien fleet to retreat temporarily. Losses were heavy, but humans had proven they could stand against overwhelming odds. Every soldier, every civilian, every leader had contributed to this victory. They had adapted, improvised, and fought as one. The Empire, for all its strength, had underestimated the most dangerous enemy it would ever face: humanity united by courage and determination. As night fell on Earth, Adam Cole and his team stood on a hill overlooking the city. Lights flickered across the horizon, repaired buildings glowed with activity, and communication signals reached the outer colonies. "They will come again," Claire Morgan said quietly. "But we are ready. Humans do not give up." Ben Carter nodded. "We have learned much. We fight smarter, we fight together, and we will survive." Lucas Gray looked at the stars. "The Empire thought it could intimidate us. Now it knows the cost of that mistake." Karax observed from afar, a quiet witness to the rising human resistance. He felt both hope and dread. Hope because humans were extraordinary in courage and skill, dread because he knew the Empire would not give up easily. Yet even the most powerful fleets would face difficulty against humans who fought for each other. The lessons of the first battles had been learned. The Empire had seen a glimpse of human ingenuity and spirit, and it would not forget. The Empire began to plan for the next phase, sending more troops and larger warships. But humans were no longer unprepared. Every victory, every retreat, and every adaptation had strengthened them. Soldiers had learned to anticipate alien tactics, civilians had organized to support the war effort, and leaders had coordinated strategies across the world. Humanity was no longer an easy target. Adam Cole gathered his strike team for a briefing. "We've won a battle, not the war," he said. "They will try again and it will be worse, but we are ready. Humans fight best when we are pushed to the edge, and now we know how to do it together." Claire Morgan added, "We learn fast, we adapt, and we protect each other. That is why we will survive." Ben Carter smiled faintly. "And they will learn that humans are not weak, not predictable, and not afraid." The first great turning point had passed. Humans had shown that courage, unity, and intelligence could defeat even the most powerful fleets. The Empire had seen what Karax had warned them about long ago. Humans were not ordinary enemies, and the cost of underestimating them would only grow as the war continued. The stars above Earth were quiet for the moment, but in the silence, humans prepared. Every soldier, every civilian, and every leader worked together. The coming battles would test them further, but the first major victory had proven one truth: humans never gave up, and when they fought together, no force in the galaxy could easily overcome them. The Empire had not expected humans to fight like this. After the turning point at the outer colonies, alien commanders began to realize their arrogance had cost them dearly. Fleets were delayed, soldiers were confused, and morale began to falter. Karax watched from afar, knowing the Empire had underestimated human courage and strategy. He had warned them once, but humans were now showing what he had meant all along. Underestimating Earth's soldiers was dangerous, even deadly. Adam Cole and Lucas Gray gathered their strike teams on a human base orbiting the colony of Veridian. Reports had come in that the Empire was regrouping and sending larger fleets to crush human resistance. "They think they can overwhelm us with numbers," Lucas said. "But we've learned how they fight. We can use that against them." Claire Morgan reviewed maps and sensor data. "We will create traps, ambushes, and false targets. We will force them into our territory where we control every move." Ben Carter added, "Their confidence will be their weakness. They do not expect humans to fight this way, and that gives us an advantage." The first stage of the plan was to divide the alien fleets. Humans sent small decoy groups into open space, drawing parts of the enemy fleet away from key positions. Hidden human ships then attacked from asteroid fields, destroying supply lines and forcing alien soldiers into narrow passages. Human pilots used their knowledge of the terrain, small maneuverable ships, and unpredictable tactics to frustrate the enemy. Alien officers could not believe the losses they were sustaining. On Earth, civilians worked tirelessly to support the war effort. Engineers repaired damaged ships quickly. Scientists analyzed captured alien technology, and volunteers ensured that soldiers had food, medical care, and communication support. Even schools trained young people to assist with basic logistics, teaching them how to operate communication systems and maintain supplies. Everyone contributed. Humans understood that the strength of their soldiers came not just from weapons, but from the unity of the whole population. Adam Cole led a strike against a key alien supply station near the asteroid belt. He and Lucas Gray planned every detail carefully. Small human teams moved through hidden tunnels and asteroid shadows, avoiding detection. They disabled security systems, set charges, and coordinated attacks from multiple angles. When the battle began, alien soldiers were caught off guard. Explosions and energy bursts destroyed critical systems. The supply station was neutralized with minimal human casualties. The operation slowed the alien advance and gave humans time to strengthen their defenses. Claire Morgan coordinated communication networks, ensuring that every human squad had real-time updates. "Keep moving, share information, and support each other," she said. "Every action matters. We cannot let them isolate any of our teams." Ben Carter directed repair crews, ensuring damaged ships returned to battle quickly. Adam Cole oversaw the overall strategy, using his experience from previous conflicts to anticipate alien movements. Humans were learning faster than the enemy could adapt. Carex observed the Empire's reactions. He saw officers arguing, soldiers retreating before engagements, and commanders panicking at the losses. "They are breaking," he whispered. Humans fight as one, and the Empire cannot understand that. They rely on power, not unity. They will learn the cost of underestimating Earth's soldiers. Some alien officers finally began to hesitate, realizing that repeated defeats were not random, but the result of human strategy and determination. Others still ignored the signs, confident in their ships and weapons. Humans then launched a larger operation. They targeted alien communication networks and supply lines across multiple colonies. Coordinated attacks disrupted fleet coordination, delayed reinforcements, and forced alien soldiers into poorly planned engagements. Human medics treated wounded immediately, returning soldiers to the fight faster than the aliens expected. The humans' ability to learn from each engagement and adapt on the spot made them nearly impossible to defeat in conventional terms. Adam Cole's team intercepted a large alien warship attempting to break through to the inner colonies. Small human attack ships moved swiftly, striking critical weak points while avoiding direct confrontation with the main weapons. Explosive charges, energy bursts, and coordinated maneuvers disabled engines and communications. The warship was forced to retreat, dragging parts of the alien fleet with it. The humans had again turned the enemy's strength into weakness. On Earth, the people celebrated small victories but remained focused. Every citizen contributed to the war effort. Factories produced parts for ships, medical teams trained quickly, and intelligence units analyzed alien communications. Civilians worked alongside soldiers, knowing that the outcome of the war depended on unity. Even children learned to operate simple monitoring devices, passing information to human leaders. This cooperation strengthened humanity's position and made them more dangerous than the Empire had ever imagined. Carex continued to warn the Empire. "Their soldiers fight for each other, not for empire or glory," he said. "Humans protect their own. They adapt faster than any species we have faced. They will not stop until every threat is gone." Some alien commanders began to respect the humans' skill, but most were still blinded by pride. They believed that their numbers and weapons would eventually force humans to surrender. Carex knew this was a mistake. The next major engagement occurred near the colony of Orion. Humans had prepared ambushes in narrow canyons and asteroid tunnels. The alien fleet, expecting an easy victory, was funneled into kill zones. Hidden turrets, explosive charges, and precision attacks destroyed key ships. Alien soldiers panicked as human fighters moved unpredictably. Even the best-trained alien units struggled to maintain formation against coordinated human attacks. Adam Cole led a strike team to intercept an alien command ship directing the engagement. Using speed, precision, and clever maneuvers, they damaged the ship's engines and communication systems. The alien fleet lost coordination, and many ships retreated or were destroyed. Human soldiers pressed the advantage, striking where the enemy was weakest and avoiding unnecessary risk. The victory was decisive. Carex watched and realized the full scope of what humans could do. "They are extraordinary," he said quietly. "They fight not for conquest, but for survival, for home, and for each other. The Empire has made a terrible mistake." Reports confirmed that alien morale was breaking. Soldiers refused to follow orders, retreats were chaotic, and commanders argued over strategy. Humans had forced the Empire to fight on unfamiliar terms, where numbers and technology mattered less than courage, unity, and adaptability. Adam Cole and Lucas Gray returned to the orbital base. They were exhausted but satisfied. "We have slowed them," Adam said. "But they will come again. We must keep preparing," Claire Morgan agreed. "We are stronger now, smarter and ready. Humans fight best when challenged. We will not give up." Ben Carter added, "They underestimated us once. Now they will see the cost of that mistake in every battle." On Earth, every person played a role in the continuing defense. Volunteers repaired ships, transported supplies, and communicated critical intelligence. Engineers modified captured alien weapons and ships, creating new tools for human soldiers. Medical teams trained faster, using lessons from each engagement. Humans had turned their homes, cities, and planets into a network of support for their fighters. The Empire had never faced anything like it. Carex reflected on the Empire's mistakes. He had warned them, but few listened. Now humans had proven themselves, and the cost for the Empire would be high. Soldiers who had once laughed at the idea of human resistance were now forced to retreat or die. The Empire had relied on power and technology, but humans relied on determination, unity, and courage. That combination made them almost unstoppable. The final phase of this series of battles began as humans pushed back toward the inner colonies. Small strike teams sabotaged alien supply lines, ambushed reinforcements, and disabled key weapons. Every engagement taught humans more about alien strategies, while the Empire struggled to adapt. Soldiers became fearful, commanders frustrated, and morale dropped further. Carex could see that the Empire's pride had been shattered. Adam Cole and his team stood on the command deck of the orbital base, watching reports of the human victories. "We have made them hesitate," Adam said. "Their soldiers are afraid, commanders are arguing. We can use this momentum." Lucas Gray nodded. "We must stay vigilant. Humans fight best when the challenge is greatest. We cannot waste the opportunity." Claire Morgan looked at the sensors. "We know them now. We control the battlefield in many ways. Every engagement teaches them to fear human soldiers." As night fell on Earth, civilians, soldiers, and leaders alike prepared for the next stage. Humans had grown stronger with every engagement. The Empire's forces were demoralized and fragmented. Even Carex knew that humans had achieved something extraordinary. They had turned fear, confusion, and adversity into strength. The Empire's arrogance had cost them. Humans were no longer a weak target. They had become a unified, adaptable, and unstoppable force. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, and Ben Carter stood ready for whatever the next wave would bring. They knew humans had won battles, but the war was far from over. Yet one truth was clear. The Empire had underestimated humans at their peril, and the cost of that mistake would only grow. Humans had shown the galaxy that courage, unity, and intelligence could overcome overwhelming odds. Soldiers fought, civilians supported, and leaders coordinated. The Empire had faced defeat not because of weakness, but because humans were extraordinary in spirit. The coming battles would test them further, but the humans were ready. They were strong, united, and determined, and they would not give up. The Empire was in chaos. Repeated defeats, heavy losses, and constant ambushes had shattered their confidence. Alien commanders argued over strategy, soldiers refused orders, and fleets retreated before human forces arrived. Carex watched the reports quietly, knowing that the humans had achieved something extraordinary. He had warned the Empire once, but humans had now proven themselves in a way no one could ignore. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, and Ben Carter gathered at a central command hub on Earth. The outer colonies had been stabilized, and human forces were ready to strike the enemy where it hurt most. Adam Cole looked at his team. "They thought they could conquer us easily," he said. "Now we have a chance to finish what we started. We fight smart together and for everyone we protect." Lucas Gray nodded. "Every victory has taught them fear. We keep the pressure and they will break completely." Claire Morgan reviewed maps of alien fleets and supply lines. "We hit them where they are weakest. Their command is fractured, their soldiers confused. We can make them retreat for good." Humans began a coordinated strike across multiple sectors. Small strike teams attacked alien supply bases, ambushed fleets in asteroid tunnels, and disrupted communication networks. Human pilots flew with precision, using speed, terrain, and knowledge of the enemy's weaknesses. Alien soldiers were trapped in zones where human forces controlled every angle. Even the strongest alien warships could not maneuver freely. Every strike cost them ships, officers, and morale. On Earth, civilians worked tirelessly to support the war effort. Engineers repaired damaged ships, scientists adapted alien technology, and medical teams treated injured soldiers immediately. Volunteers maintained communication lines and provided supplies to every outpost. Humans had learned that survival depended not just on soldiers, but on the unity of the entire population. Every small action, from repairing a ship to delivering food, strengthened the defense. Adam Cole led a mission to intercept a large alien command fleet attempting to regroup. Lucas Gray coordinated strike teams, attacking simultaneously from multiple directions. Human ships moved with speed and precision, disabling engines and weapon systems before the alien forces could respond. Explosions and energy bursts lit the dark space, but humans avoided unnecessary risks. Their attacks were calculated, using intelligence and strategy rather than brute force alone. Carex watched closely. He saw alien fleets retreating, soldiers panicking, and commanders losing control. "Humans fight for more than victory," he said quietly. "They fight for each other, for home, and for survival. That is why the Empire cannot defeat them easily. Their unity, courage, and ingenuity are more powerful than any weapon." Some alien officers began to question their orders, realizing the humans were no ordinary enemy. Others still clung to pride, refusing to accept defeat. Carex knew they were running out of time. The next stage of the battle was critical. Humans targeted the Empire's central command hub in the Outer Rim. It was heavily defended, but intelligence from previous encounters gave them an advantage. Adam Cole's team planned every detail carefully. Strike teams moved silently, using hidden tunnels, asteroid shadows, and decoy ships. They struck simultaneously from multiple directions, disabling defenses and creating chaos among the alien ranks. Alien commanders were overwhelmed, unable to coordinate or respond effectively. Human soldiers advanced with courage and determination. They fought in teams, covering each other and taking calculated risks. Alien troops, though stronger individually, were disoriented and frightened. They had not faced an enemy that could adapt so quickly, learn from every engagement, and use strategy instead of raw force. Human ingenuity had turned the Empire's strength against them. Adam Cole and Lucas Gray led a direct strike on the alien command ship. Energy bursts disabled shields, and explosives damaged engines and communication systems. Alien officers tried to fight back, but human precision and timing were flawless. The command ship was forced to retreat, dragging the remaining fleet in disarray. humans had delivered a decisive blow to the Empire's leadership. On Earth, the population celebrated quietly but purposefully. They knew the war was not yet over, but humans had proven they could face the greatest power in the galaxy and survive. Engineers, scientists, and volunteers continued to repair, adapt, and prepare for the next engagement. Every person contributed to the effort, understanding that unity and cooperation were just as important as bravery in battle. Karex sent one final warning to the Empire, though he knew it would likely be ignored. Humans are extraordinary. They fight for more than conquest or pride. They fight for survival, for family, and for each other. Underestimate them at your own peril. Some alien commanders finally listened, seeing the truth in his words. Others still refused, blinded by arrogance. The Empire's decisions now carried consequences that could not be reversed. Human forces moved to push the Empire further back. Strike teams targeted remaining supply lines, ambushed retreating fleets, and disabled critical infrastructure. Alien soldiers became increasingly disorganized, and morale dropped further. Human medics treated wounded immediately, returning them to battle quickly. Civilians maintained support networks that allowed soldiers to fight without worrying about logistics. The humans' ability to adapt, coordinate, and maintain unity had become unstoppable. Adam Cole led a final assault on the remaining alien strongholds in the outer colonies. Small human teams moved with precision, striking key targets simultaneously. Alien forces were trapped, unable to regroup, and commanders struggled to maintain control. Every attack weakened the Empire's hold, forcing retreats and surrenders. Humans continued to fight not for conquest, but for survival, home, and each other. Claire Morgan coordinated communication networks and intelligence. "We keep them off balance, strike where they are weakest, and protect our people," she said. "Humans fight together, and that is why we succeed." Ben Carter directed engineering and repair teams, ensuring that damaged ships and equipment returned to the front lines quickly. Lucas Gray led tactical teams, applying lessons from previous battles to every encounter. Adam Cole oversaw the overall strategy, making sure every action contributed to the larger goal. Karex observed the final stages with a sense of awe and relief. He had seen the Empire dismiss humans as weak and uncoordinated. Now he watched them defeated, fractured, and forced to retreat. Humans had proven that courage, unity, and intelligence could overcome overwhelming odds. The Empire had learned too late that Earth's soldiers were not ordinary opponents. The final battle ended with humans holding all key positions in the outer colonies. Alien fleets retreated in disarray, soldiers surrendered, and commanders were forced to negotiate peace. Humans had not only survived, but had won a decisive victory. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, and Ben Carter returned to Earth as heroes, but they understood that their work had been a collective effort. Every soldier, civilian, engineer, and medic had contributed to the triumph. Memorials were built for fallen soldiers, both human and alien. The cost of the war was high, but humanity had emerged stronger, wiser, and united. Civilians continued to support recovery efforts, rebuilding colonies and cities damaged during the conflict. Scientists studied captured alien technology, preparing for a future where humans could defend themselves more effectively. Karex left the Empire, no longer willing to serve a command that had ignored his warnings. He traveled to Earth in secret, observing the humans who had defeated what he had once considered the most powerful force in the galaxy. He marveled at their courage, unity, and ingenuity. Humans had turned weakness into strength, improvisation into strategy, and fear into determination. Adam Cole and his team reflected on their journey. They had faced impossible odds, adapted to new threats, and relied on each other for survival. Lucas Gray said, "Humans fight best when they are pushed to the edge. We have proven that together we are unstoppable." Claire Morgan added, "Our strength comes from each other. Every person, soldier, or civilian played a role in our victory." Ben Carter smiled. "They will never forget what humans can do when they fight for home and each other." Across the galaxy, whispers spread among alien civilizations. The humans of Earth had shown that no empire, no matter how powerful, should ever underestimate them. Karex's warning had been ignored, but humans had proven it true. Soldiers fought, civilians supported, and leaders coordinated. Courage, unity, and determination had defeated overwhelming odds. Humanity had claimed victory not through conquest, but through spirit, intelligence, and heart. The Empire had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were extraordinary, unpredictable, and united. They had survived impossible battles and turned their world into a fortress of resilience. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, Ben Carter, and countless other humans had shown the galaxy that courage, unity, and determination were more powerful than any fleet or weapon. As peace returned to the outer colonies, humans prepared for the future. They would rebuild, strengthen, and continue to grow. Soldiers trained, engineers innovated, and civilians contributed in countless ways. Humans knew that survival depended on unity, adaptability, and courage. The Empire would no longer underestimate them, and the galaxy would remember the cost of ignoring Earth's soldiers. Carrick stood on a quiet hill outside the city where he had secretly arrived. He looked up at the stars, thinking of the empire of humans and of the battles that had been fought. "They were right to warn you," he whispered. "And now the galaxy has seen the truth. Humans are not weak. Humans are dangerous when they fight for each other." The Empire learned that lesson at great cost. Adam Cole, Lucas Gray, Claire Morgan, and Ben Carter stood together, looking at the horizon. They were tired, scarred, but proud. The war had tested them, but they had proven the strength of humanity. No fleet, no empire, and no force could break humans when they fought together. The lesson was clear. Unity, courage, and determination were humanity's greatest weapons, and they would never be underestimated again.